So tell me what's bringing you in today.
Yeah, so I've been having a lot of like difficulty attracting with women, and I found that often when I'm like at a party or like even in a snuggle sesh with some friends that I'm taking drugs. It kind of helps me relax a little bit. Just trying to figure out like ways to find myself more comfortable with women.
Okay. So looking for more ways to get comfortable and seems like looking for strategies to help you relax. And do you equate like having trouble relaxing? Does that feel like anxiety of you? Are you familiar with anxieties that like resonate as what that feels like? What is the having trouble relaxing? Tell me more about that.
So yeah, like I just feel like they're gonna judge me and they're gonna think I'm creepy, and like if I approach them, that they're gonna really want to push away. And so I get really anxious about like making any sort of move, flirting.
Okay. So that sounds like the anxiety is manifesting when you're with women. Those sound like some thoughts that are coming up for you. Like they're gonna think I'm creepy. They're gonna push away. And those thoughts sound like they're kind of like being a little mean to you, like putting you down a little bit. And then it makes sense that then you're like not feeling super comfortable if those are the thoughts rushing through your head. Okay, so you're looking for support in feeling more comfortable in other ways. So tell me more about why the MDMA.
I think I just said substances, yeah. But yeah. No,
we were sorry about it. So. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean my friends turned me on to it. I'm like involved in a lot of like the rave scene here. I've like really had like a good time on some trips, and I find myself like much more relaxed, and like I was able to dance for the first time without feeling self-conscious. So it's just been like a really nice release.
Okay, so it sounds like those substances are helping you tap into some of how you want to be. Sounds like you really enjoyed that dancing, and you're like finding moments of connection with folks, and that can be really nourishing, especially if that's the kind of connection you're looking for more of in your life. So how often would you say you're using these substances, and like are you noticing any other impacts on your life?
Yeah, so I'd say like I used MDMA last weekend, and then maybe the time before that was like 3 or so weeks ago, and then I went on a trip down to Joshua Tree and did it with my friends there. So yeah, like every couple weeks.
Okay, so every couple weeks sounds like in the context of raves and with friends, and mostly with the intention of like relaxing and getting to enjoy those moments. Okay, so how are you feeling about the frequency of your use?
I feel fine.
You feel fine with that? Okay. So how do you find that you're able to be like, how would you describe yourself when you're on these substances? What's your personality like, or what are the differences you're noticing?
Good question. Yeah, I'm just like more free. Like I went to this big party at this like house up in the Berkeley Hills, and I think Grimes was there actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there was like probably like 500 to 1,000 people, and people were getting naked in the hot tub. So like I was on MDMA and it felt really comfortable. So I got naked in the hot tub, and that was like super cool and like something I'd never done before. Like, yeah, so I don't know. I feel like free, a lot more free. And then it feels like I'm able to process things through that and like get closer to like finally being intimate with someone.
Okay. Yeah, so having a lot of liberating experiences, feeling free, and that's something you want more of in your life, and maybe translating to then how you feel when you're talking to women and potential connections.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you said that you're able to process that more. What do you mean by, what does your processing look like?
Well, like I'm just like pretty self-conscious about my body, and I think I'm really hairy and like have like all this acne and psoriasis and stuff and dandruff, and so I'm able to just like kind of move like feel a little bit better about my body when I'm on drugs, and then hopefully it like kind of carries over to like when I come down.
Okay. So when you're sober, it sounds like you have a fair amount of like insecurity and body image insecurity. And you use the word free a lot, so it sounds like you're able to kind of rid yourself of that weight when you're on these substances, and then embodying that confidence, it sounds like you're describing. Okay. And then you're feeling that trickle over. Okay. So when you are not on these substances, so like let's say you went to a rave that sounded like a lot of people, and like had this really great experience at, what do the days following look like for you? Like how is the trickling over? What does that look like? How are you experiencing it?
Yeah, so often, I mean, it's hard for me to track, but I do a really good job of like tracking my mood day by day, and I'm really good at like titrating like my meds depending on where my mood's at. So like I'll take the BDI after that's the back end depression. I don't know if you know.
Okay.
But
Great.
yeah, so I'll just like track my mood, and afterwards it like, yeah, I'm just like I feel really good on it, and then some weeks I like don't feel good, and then I'll take like ketamine, or I'll take like my Wellbutrin, or I'll take my Adderall, like depending on where my mood is at. Yeah, I've considered like some other neurofeedback treatments, and I've like done all my research, so like I feel like I'm able to like solve it if I have a bad mood.
Okay, so it sounds like you're really paying close attention to your mood, and you're using like all these different tools to evaluate how you're feeling. That takes a fair amount of awareness, and that sounds like a lot of effort in there, and some great research. And then sounds like you are then modulating or using different substances to then affect your mood when it's feeling. Like, can you tell me more about the moods that are coming up for you that you then feel like you need to change with the substances?
Yeah. Well, there's not like, I mean, I just feel pretty depressed and like anhedonic most of the time. Like my motivation to work is like pretty low. I work like 2 hours a day. But then there are like times when I'm feeling good, like especially when I'm being social with my like classmates. I'm kind of like talking to this woman, and it's like potential that she's interested, and like that makes me really happy for the rest of the week, and like I think it's like a huge boost to my mood. But like on the whole, it's pretty, I'm like, you know, like my baseline is like depressed.
Okay, so it sounds like, yeah, struggling with the depressed mood and lack of motivation. That's really hard to be living with on the day in and day out. And it sounds like not feeling super productive and feel well. Okay, and that the moments when you do feel like lighter and more connected, or lighter in those moments of connection, talking about that potential connection, sounds like that has a big natural impact on your mood.
For sure. Yeah, because it feels like there's a possibility that I could be loved in a way that I never thought I could be.
Yeah, so it's an important part of the human experience. So that makes so much sense why that kind of lights you up and the warm and fuzzies. So when you're hanging out with this woman, is in the context of the raves where you're like on substances, or are you doing that, or those sober dates?
It's a mix. Like she helped me to create this costume for the party, and I went as like this kind of clever thing. I can't remember. It's very smart, and it's very techy.
That sounds really smart and really techy.
And yeah, so like we were sober then, and yeah, mostly with her I've been sober, but like when we're at the party. So yeah, like with the other woman, Lisa, like our relationship is mostly in the context of drugs.
Okay, so it sounds like kind of a mix. There's one woman you did light up when you were talking about that first woman. It sounds like that one's mostly sober connection and some collaboration on this.
Yeah, I
smart
would
and
much.
technical
Yeah. Like we bonded over the fact that we both like don't find ourselves super attractive, and like I told her I find her body really attractive, and Lisa, I'm like meh about, you know, like I like her, but like I don't like her.
Shayla, okay. Yeah, that's so vulnerable to be so open and honest with each other about how you feel about yourself, and then get to show up with like affirmations and then get to connect over that. So it sounds like that's a really strong potential connection. Really makes sense why that's exciting. And then are you and Shayla going to these raves together? Like, did she help you make the costume and then went with you, or is that independent?
Yeah, I think it's mostly independent. Like our relationship is like us hanging out one-on-one. Now we like met at the party and we've been like talking. She comes over to the house often.
Okay, great. So sounds like a wonderful connection and separate from the raves. Okay. And I'm liking.
Should we pause that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's pause. I think that was like
Yeah.